Hey friends and family, welcome to Marcie Creates. This is Marcie, and welcome to a color inspiration workshop using the bargain bead box that we just received, which is, I'm going from memory, the Holiday Cheer. I did an unboxing last night, and I'm jumping right into some color theory, color inspiration. Now, if you like the colors, these are the colors that came in the box. We have a lot of complementary colors, as you can see. We have some red and green beads here, gold findings, and we have a tiny nod to some blue, which stay tuned for that. We got some focal beads, also in green and red. So pretty much a straightforward complementary palette. So I'm going to reveal the additions to you. So, drum roll please. Here are our additions to what we're going to play with on this box. So I'm going to move this over just for a minute so we can talk about it. And here is our palette. Now, a lot of you are asking me how I get this palette, or how I get these palettes. So I just wanted to really quickly tell you once again how I do that. So when I got the bargain bead box, I put in green and red. I Googled green and red color inspiration. That's literally what I put into the search engine. And then a lot of photographs come up with those colors and others. They're photographed, and then they pull out the colors in the photos. If you're following me on Facebook, under Marcie Creates, I post these frequently for inspiration. I cannot show you the photograph because it is copyrighted, but I can show you the swatch. So I just found one I liked that had most of the colors. It didn't have the gold, but that's okay. Sometimes you can't get everything, and this is a metal that we may mix. We may put some silver or some bronze in there, so we may not stick with that. But for this particular palette, these were Christmas ornaments. So I thought that was very cool and apropos for the holiday season. And so we've got a lot of jewel tones here. Now, one thing that I will point out is that when you print it, of course, every printer is different. And you may have, you're not going to get exact with these, okay? You just want to get close. You'll make yourself crazy if you try to be totally exact. I tried to do the best I could because, like, this blue has more gray in it, and this is more of a marine blue, whereas this is more of a, like, purpley fuchsia, and this is more of a red, and then this is more of a pinky kind of fuchsia red. So they're very, very close, but I just think jewel tones is the way you want to go with this palette if you're going to do it. And so what I did is I printed out the picture I liked. I cut out the picture, and I'm left with the swatch. And then I take the swatch, and I go through my stash, and I try to find beads that match. Obviously, I already had plenty of green and red from the bead box. So I went in and tried to find some blues, like I think these blues here kind of pick up one of these guys like this. So they're very subtle differences. And then you've got kind of the purpley color right here, and you've got the fuchsia right here, and then here's your red, and here's your green. So that's kind of how I did that. So, and then I wanted plenty to work with, so I did pull quite a bit of blue. I found the blue in this palette to be a little tricky, because it's very subtle. Again, don't make yourself crazy. But this is the palette that we're going to play with. And I did pull out a few more green beads. We have a lot of green already. So I have some green, some more gold findings, and then kind of an antique bronze that we might play with to kind of tone down that bright gold. We may mix some silver in there too. And then I have a lot of the blue beads. So that is just my method. I really do love the jewel tones. I think of all the really pretty baubles that you could have on your Christmas tree in those colors. You know, the lights are all jewel tones, and I just think it's a nice, pretty spectrum of, you know, all the different colors that you would see possibly on a tree. So that's why I came up with that. So with that being said, that is going to be our color inspiration. And we do have these that we can play with. I haven't decided yet, of course, what I'm going to do, but I do want to, I'm going to arrange these a little bit differently so you can still see everything. But here's our little bit of blue. That's the only nod in the box that we got towards another color. So I kind of went with that. And as you can see, we got a lot of gray blue here. So I think it's going to be really, really neat. I've got some interesting shapes. I don't know if we'll use those or not. We've got different, you know, treatments. This is a very watery kind of blue. And got some drops, some pretty hearts, different colors that we'll mix. So I'm going to rearrange this a little bit so we have room to play. And maybe we'll do a necklace tonight and just kick everything off with a necklace. Oh, and before I go away, I did want to show you some resin beads I found while I was searching through my stash that almost had all the colors. So we're going to have to maybe do some companion earrings, but check those out. They're more tropical. They're not very Christmassy, but they did have a lot of the colors. So I couldn't pass up pulling those out. So maybe we'll play with those on another evening. And anyway, let me get set up a little bit to make some things, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so I did a little rummaging, and I did pull out some bronze and silver bead caps and spacer beads, just to kind of tone down. That's a very bright gold that we have in here, and some of you, I noticed in the comments, weren't a big fan. I'm going to show you how a little of that can go a long way, and you can layer if you want to. I'm going to use some SofFlex green emerald color wire for our project today. And then I've got a couple of tassels here that are a brighter green, which I thought are kind of pretty. And what we're going to do is we're going to make what I call a ladder necklace. And I see this a lot with metal, but today I'm going to use the SofFlex wire. I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. I'm thinking, because I think I want to do a wire component. Stay tuned for this. We'll do something else with that. But I do like this piece, but it's not very substantial. So what I thought was we would do our ladder piece and have this hanging maybe like that with the tassels on either side. And then we're going to have a few rows of beads, kind of like a ladder, and then we'll just string the rest of the way up. So that'll give us an opportunity to mix around different color combinations and so on and so forth. So I think right now what I need to concentrate on is hanging that. And I do want to pick up some of the colors we're going to play with. And I right away want to start toning down some of the gold. So I think I want to introduce, let's see. I'm going to do, I like this druzy bead. And it's got a little bit of shimmer. Kind of has greeny gold shimmer in it. It kind of echoes these beads, which we're going to use. We're going to use some of these too. And I think we will do some bead caps. We will mix these metals. But my thought was to stack them so that we can tone down the gold. You've got gold in the bead already. Let me grab another one of these that I saw him hiding. So my thought is with these very, very bright, so you have, I think, two kinds here that came in the box. And some really delicate ones. And then I think, are these the same? I guess they are the same. I thought they might be a little bit different. We also have this really pretty, that's pretty. Maybe we'll do something like that. And so for the green beads, I will stack the, I'll do the silver first and then the gold over it. And that's gonna, I think, tone down that gold. Or maybe we might need a smaller silver. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do some of these. So gold and then silver over it. So you get a little peak of the gold, but you're not, so if you're overpowered by the gold, I think a little peak's okay. So that's kind of pretty. So we'll stack those, and that'll kind of solve the very bright glare of the gold beads. Of course, you know, if you find other bead caps in your stash you like better, you know, as I've said before, this is your box, so you do not have to use everything that's in the box together. In fact, if there's certain elements that you really don't care for, then by all means, you know, swap them out. Go into your stash and find something that you do like. I did pull more gold that is less bright that I might play with at some other point. I've got these fluted beads that I thought were real pretty that are less glaring, I guess you could say. So, but I did want to address that issue with these if you feel that way, that you can stack things and kind of give it a different look. I love these fuzzy things. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. But anyway, and then we've got these nice bronze. I love these bronze. We're going to definitely, I think as we mix some of the metals, it'll tone down some of this very bright gold. Some people really like the bright gold. Hey, if you like it, go for it. You got a lot of it. If you don't like it, I get it. So, solutions if you want them. And I did pull out some gold transparent bicones too that I thought might be pretty. And then I've got these little brushed gold nuggets. Now again, these are for multiple projects, so we're not going to use everything that you see here. I'm just giving you ideas of things that you can pull out of your stash to start playing with this box and the colors. And like I said, if the gold's too bright for you, you can certainly go into your stash, you know, pull some really pretty gold bicones, find some bead caps that are less bright. You can certainly do that. So, and then put the bright ones in your stash. There may come a point where you want to use them. And then we have these really pretty blue beads that came. And that's really the only other color. You know, we're going to add the fuchsia and stuff, of course. So I think the big thing right now is going to be building the middle piece. So let's pull this back a minute. I do like the snowflake piece, so we will attach that. And I love this druzy bead. And I think we'll do our stacking technique on the druzy bead that we're going to do on the rest of them. So let me pull out a couple of these from the bead box, and then we'll grab some of these little... So we're going to wrap those right now. I am going to use some gold wire to wire wrap. And I believe this is 20 gauge. Let me make sure that's going to go through there. Yeah. So we're going to make our focal piece first. And we will continue on from there and build our ladder necklace. Again, I don't have any rhyme or reason on that. I just haven't done one in a while. And I saw these 2 tassels and I thought they'd be kind of cool. We'll see. And maybe we'll even wrap something around these, like around the edge to add a little more color. So let's see, what size? We have about a 3 3/4 size piece of 20 gauge wire. And I am just going to make a simple bail. And I'm just going to make a loop like that. And we're going to attach our this is thin. You could also, if you feel like this is too flimsy, you could glue this on a round piece of wood. Or swap out, you know, for something you have in your stash. So here is this. And I think, so now the question is, I think I'm going to put the bead on first. Let's put the bead on and then we'll address the snowflake. That snowflake is so pretty. So I'm just basically stacking these right now. Trying to find the hole. That's always helpful. See, so now you can see what I mean by it being stacked. You just have a little peak of that gold, which I like. So yeah, stack your bead caps. I think it's a cool look. So we have that. And I think I'm going to wire wrap this. You could wire wrap the bottom too. It's pretty lightweight. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But if you're, whoops, sorry about that, just knocked the camera. If you're wary, you could certainly wire wrap the bottom there. And I'm making this small because this little charm is small. It sure is pretty though. Very, very holiday feeling. So I know I just put the unboxing out. But I haven't seen too many other unboxings from other folks. I don't know if maybe people are on vacation or what, but that's one of my favorite things. And then this morning, I didn't realize I didn't go get the mail yesterday. This morning, I realized I hadn't gotten the mail yesterday. I guess I was still thinking about no mail because of, now I don't know what I'm doing here, but that is crazy looking. We're going to fix that in a second. If this happens to you, no worries. I'm going to come in with my round nose, my round pliers like this. In yapping, I wasn't paying attention. I was using the crimp tool. I was using the crimp tool to make a wrap loop. That's funny. So, if that should happen to you, no worries. Just come in with your round nose, your round. It looks a little kinky right now, but it'll be fine. And just reorient your loop. And that looks a little better. We'll fix it. I think once we start wrapping, it'll straighten itself out a little. Oh, and also pay attention to how you're putting this on, because you want it facing the right way. Just like that. All right. getting back to what I was saying. Yeah, I didn't see too many unboxings. Unless I'm not looking right, but I'm subscribed to a lot of folks. But anyway, we had some very cold weather here. It was 30-something degrees this morning. There was actual frost out. So, you won't be hearing about the Texas heat from me for a while. We're in the temperatures that I like. All right, so here is that loop turned out okay. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with it. So here is our middle piece. And what I thought I'd do is, with the 18 gauge wire, I'm just going to make a little framework to hang this and these. That's going to be our bottom piece of the ladder. So let me pull out some 18 gauge. You can make ladder necklaces all sorts of ways. I've seen them with chain and leather, and they're an interesting way to go because you can do this nice, like, layered look with all your beads and do a whole bunch of, you can play with the patterns and stuff within that ladder. And that's what I thought would be cool about this. Let me pull out my tassels. I like this bright green. Actually, I think these are two different sizes. I think that one's thicker. Here's I gotta buy more. You can tell I love tassels. All right. So let's see. I'm going to pick the two that I like the best. I think I like these. Nope, that's got different. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. Crisis averted. All right, so back to our wire. So my thought is to hang this and put some beads. I am going to make a little divot so that this doesn't slide around. So that's what I'm going to do next. So, and this probably, I'm not going to keep this long, but I just want plenty of wire to play with so I don't have a problem. I think it's easier to work with more wire than less. So I'm just pinching this. I do want more substantial. I'm just going to pinch this so it's got a little channel for my, see that? I'm going to open this back up. I think we've made this shape before for other things. This should look familiar. And now we're going to hang our there we go. See, now this won't go anywhere. And now we can play with some of our colors before we pull our tassels. Let me put the tassels to the side for just a second. So I do like to represent in my, I think I've said this before, in my focal pieces for a necklace, I like to represent the colors I'm going to be using throughout the piece. So here's where we can have some fun. And I do love these green square beads. I love these. So let's pick some. I'd like just a representation of everything we're going to be using in the necklace. And we'll pull a couple of those. Let's do some red. I do want to add some red. Those barrel beads might be too big. Let's see. Let's see. Grab a couple of those. I do want some red. Some dark green. Those are pretty. So, let's think about this a minute. Let's do the smaller beads. Oh, I hope these fit on here. That's the only thing I forgot to check is, but these little gemstones look like they're going to fit. Sometimes with 18 gauge wire and gemstones, they don't fit. So you may have to go to 20 gauge if you find that your 18 gauge is too much. All right. And let's see. Little bicone. Actually, I think I'm going to do a different blue. I do like the druzy. I think that this is more of a gray blue, or those might be too big. Or we have these pearlized kind of number 6 seed beads. Those might be the way to go. So that's the darker blue. So we have a green blue. Just going back to this, we have more of a greenish, like marine blue, and then a regular kind of dusty blue. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm not sure I'm wild about those. I think we're going to go for some deeper colors here. Again, this is designer's choice. I just want to represent everything. All right. We may do this in 2 parts. So let's see. Let's put our... Okay, so we'll hold those to the side. So these little bellflowers did not fit on my 18 gauge. That's okay. Let's add some red. I think we need some red on here. So this is where you play. Let's do some blue. Green. Maybe I'll stack a little. I love these with the rhinestones. Give a little sparkle. And these are not as bright gold as the others. Now we want to be thinking about when we're going to do our tassels. So let me push these to the side for a second. So here is our focal piece. And we're going to want our tassels to hang probably, I'm going to say, maybe one more bead. I'd love to get maybe one of these. Gosh, I don't know if I like that. Let's see. The pearls are pretty. I know it looks like everybody's like, what are you doing? Trust me. Okay, so then I thought maybe do loops and then add our tassels. And then maybe we'll wrap something around the tassels though before we do that. So I don't want anything to slide off of here. I'm just going to loop these now and put this to the side. Some of this is going to get cut off, so these are just functional as far as we don't want our beads to slide off. Okay, so loops. Now nothing slides off. So we're going to put this to the side. And let's take a look at our tassels for a second. So I was thinking on the tassels, it would be fun to come in with some 26 gauge wire and take some smaller beads and just wrap some around the edges here. And maybe we should maybe introduce the blue that came in the box. We could do a pattern. We could grab some fuchsia, would be pretty. Let's see if that works. Just a little hint. We're not gonna cover the whole thing. Maybe we'll grab a couple of bite cones too. I just want a representation. Maybe a green. A red. I think that came in red. Yeah, those little gemstones. That was the strand that had the yellow, the red, and the green, and the blue. And I'm not recalling what they were called right now, but they were a dyed gemstone of some kind. All right. So then what we can do is take our 26 gauge wire. You could even hang something from it. In fact, that might be kind of cute. Oops. I like these leaves. So maybe in lieu of these bright pink, we'll grab a leaf. 26 gauge wire. I do like to spend a lot of time on my focals. Once you've got, where's the end of that? I'm trying to find the end of my wire. Bear with me a moment. Cue the elevator music. Oh, well, you know what? We'll figure it out. Okay. So I do like to wrap. So I think what we'll do, I'm just going to use half of this. I don't think we need all of this, but this is like 24 inches. So 12 inches for each tassel. Let me move this guy to the side. And I'm just going to add my leaf. He's going to go in the center. Just like that. And I'm going to start I'm going to anchor him, and then I'll start wrapping, and I'll add some more. Now, these are all steps you don't have to do, of course. But I like to do a little extra and mix techniques. So I'm just basically wire wrapping around this tassel. Then we'll grab some more gemstones. This is not going to be exact or fancy. I just want to give it a little blinged out feeling. So there's no rhyme or reason to this portion of the designing. And 12 inches of wire goes fast, even though I'm just trying to nestle some of these in. Oops. This is silk tassel, so it's kind of slippery. And you could do as much wire or as little wire as you want, or not at all. You can skip this step entirely. I also like to do a little peyote stitching around tassels. I'm not going to do that tonight because we'll be here forever. But all I'm trying to do is just give it some a jeweled feeling. You can move these around. Honestly, I think that's probably good, because we are going to have to start tightening this up now. And I'm going to tuck the end in. So then you're going to want to play with it a little bit and move things around where you want them. And you can even come in with your some little flat nose. Let's grab these. And just do a bejeweled, pretty wrap. And I need to tuck that end in. So I'll just make a little point and squish it right into the silk of the tassel. You just don't want anybody to get poked. And there's our cute little bejeweled tassel. We're going to do another one. Doesn't look like I used all these beads, but that's okay. I kind of like the haphazard look to it. The treatment on these leaf beads, these are some check leaf beads. Very pretty. And I love fuchsia and green, this bright green together. And that's the other thing, is you can use different shades of green as well. All right. There's a little blue bead. Oops. Come back here, mister. Little zip line action. I know my fingers are in the way, but I just don't want anything to go flying. I'm just trying to hang on before you tighten all this. Everything can go south on you quick. So just be mindful of that when you're wire wrapping these silk tassels. And if you get static like this, you can just dampen it very slightly, or use a little tiny bit of hairspray, and the static will go away. They were in plastic, so they were in those little plastic sleeves. I think I want another green. Okay. So now we need to tuck our ends in. And again, I'm just making a little point like that, and I'm going to come in and push it into the tassel. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. We'll come in with our flat nose pliers and kind of tighten this as well. In fact, let me turn that one in. Ooh, where'd he go? I seriously need to go see the eye doctor after the first of the year. I was having such trouble seeing things this weekend. It's like, I think I need a new prescription. You could tell right away when you're making jewelry if you need to get your eyes checked. Okay, so here's our little tassels. Very, very cute. And we're going to now hang these. I think I'm just going to make some loops right here. And I'm going to use my, let's see, bigger bail. And I think I want to turn it this way. So we're going to go that way. And we're going to stop right there. Do the other side. Okay. All right. So now we're going to add our tassels. Sorry guys, I keep hitting the camera. I'm trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing, but then my hand, I forget where that camera is and it smacks it, so I apologize. All right. We don't need that end anymore. That was the end that was keeping our beads on. But now we want to slide our tassel on. And we also want to make sure we have him on so you can see all the goodies we just put on there. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that right now. And then we're going to do the other side. So look, our goodies are facing the wrong way. But we haven't wire wrapped it yet, so very easy to fix. Let me pull him off. Turn him around. Still the wrong way. What's wrong with me? There we go. All right. Yeah. Let me get this guy on here. All right. So here's what we have. I really like it. We're going to wrap this. And so now what we have to think about is how this is going to hang on our necklace. So remember I told you we're going to do like a ladder. So this is the bottom of the ladder. So we're going to have like maybe, I think I'm going to do 3 rows of just beads. And then we'll have some strung beads. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I think what we need to do right now is close this up. And I'm thinking of making loops to hang off of these SofFlex so that we could put a string of beads right here in between. And that could be a layer as well, is my thought. We'll see if that works or not. Oh, darn it. I just bumped the camera again. Sorry, folks. I'm really not trying to make you dizzy, I promise. So I'm going to take my smaller little bales here, and I'm going to make a little hook. I'm going to tighten that, but just so you can see it, that's going to hang off our wire. And I'm going to do the other side. So you want plenty of wire to play with, so you don't run out when you get to this point. So I would say more wire is better than not enough. And of course, you may run out. When I engineer this type of stuff, I never know if I've got, you know, because I really kind of wing it. I don't really measure. I just sort of think to myself, do I like that? Do I like that? And so I would say, if you like this, just make sure you're pulling a lot of wire so that you can have enough. So these little holes, of course, it's not closed yet, as you can see. Little shepherd's crook. I'm going to close those up. I'm going to come in with these wonderful little pliers, and I'm going to just make a little closing of the loop, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side, just like that. Woo! Deep breaths. Whew. There is our focal piece. So stringing should be better. I've already made a mess. I don't think we're going to use these little fuzzy guys today, but we may use them in a future project. I am going to maybe thin the herd before we start stringing. So I'm going to go do that off camera and just get some rows of beads ready. Basically, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a row that's going to have our stringing wire, and then we'll maybe put a bead or two, depending on the size, another row on some wire, another bead, and another row, and then we'll string. And of course, like I said, we're using this beautiful evergreen, green emerald color from SofFlex, so we're not going to string all the way up. You know, you want the whole idea to be down below here. But I do want to represent all our colors in our wonderful color palette, which so far I think we've managed to do in the focal piece. And so we're just going to continue that jewel tone idea throughout the necklace. So let me thin the herd a little bit, and I will be right back with you. Okay, everybody, so I've pulled 34 inches of this really beautiful dark green. I love this color. I'm going to have to get some more of this. SofFlex. Green emerald. Green emerald. And we're going to, I've kind of played with the first little nuggets I want to put in here. So let me push these guys to the back here for a second. So what we're going to do is we're just basically going to start stringing and making ladders. So the first ladder was this, and it's a little curvy, and that's fine. They don't have to be straight. Some of them are very, very straight, and this one's going to have a little bit of a curve to it. So I'm literally just stringing my SofFlex on here, and I'm going to string just what I have here. Now I may need to play with how many beads I've got on here. And I also want to put some sparkly things in a few places. Gotta have the sparkle, of course. Since we've got some sparkle here and here, I want to add some to the layers as we go. Now this is, of course, designer's choice. You can do as many of these or as few or none as you want. Totally up to you at this point. It's totally up to you. I think I'm going to do some silver bead caps, or maybe I'll do all that layering. Yeah, let's layer again. We'll echo that layering. Oh, but we need smaller silver, don't we? Here we go. Got some right here. I try to just echo things as I add. They don't have to be the exact thing you did earlier in the necklace, but I find that you can do little tiny echoes places. It resonates throughout the piece of jewelry. So, you know, just find one little element, like maybe stacking your bead caps, and do that throughout the necklace. And then the mixed metals make sense. And it'll, you know, no one's going to probably consciously, unless they also make jewelry, notice that. But it will, people's eyes will notice it. Even if they don't consciously say, oh, you repeated that, you know. That's going to be very noticeable. So let's see. I think this actually... is that going to work? Let's see. What we don't want is to... I think that'll work. Oh, I missed a bead. Hang on. Stop the presses. I do love these little green crystal squares. They look like little presents. All right, let's see. We may need to take out some beads. We're going to check that in a minute. I want more rondelles with the rhinestones in them. Here we go. I think this is a bronze. So we also have a bronze in here, which is kind of fun. And this is where you just have to test it out and try it. And you're not putting anything together yet. So see, that's too many beads. That's fine. So we're going to... The nice thing is, since I don't have this SofFlex anchored, we can take from both sides. Let me just slide this. So we'll take out our little gold bicone on this side. We'll take out our gold bicone out on... Let me pull this out of here. That side. And I think that's probably still going to be... I'm taking off the rhinestone rondelles now. Boy, my throat. I don't know what's going on. Hope I'm not coming down with something. So I think, too, the other thing I notice is that these pearls are kind of banging up against those other pearls. So I may change the position and put the... I think I'm going to put a rhinestone rondelle and a pearl. And then maybe a bicone. That ought to do it. We're about to find out. Other side. I just love stringing with SofFlex. The beads just glide right on. It is a pleasure to string with. Absolutely love it. And I love the colors, and I love that you can have those colors accent your piece of jewelry. If you've not ever used SofFlex, I highly, highly recommend you trying it. You will not be sorry. Okay, so now let's see if this is going to work. Oh, my poor puppy's in there sneezing. Cha-cha. Okay. So, I like that. That works for me. So now, let's center this. I'm going to come in with beads. I think I'm going to do one bead. We'll do another layer, and I think we may stop there because I don't want to overdo it. We'll see. Let's see. This is where you have to kind of eyeball. So I do want to use these really pretty purple, I guess they're bellflowers are what they're called. And I'm going to use, whoops, here we go again with the camera. So sorry. Sorry. All right. And then I think I would like to come in with a pearl. Now, at some point, I'll do a ladder necklace with chain. It's totally different than what we're doing right now. Kind of the same idea of what we're doing, but instead of using string, you're using chain, and you're using the cables in the chain to make the ladder. So I think we need one more bead. And I think I'm going to use these really pretty brass. They're like, I don't know what you'd call them. They're clear, but they're brass. They're like a clear metallic. They're cool. Grab a couple more bead covers. Crimp, what do you call them? Bead caps. Oh boy. Yeah, so last night, I don't know, I couldn't sleep. I was up at 2, I was up at 4. Finally at 6, I was like, oh, to heck with it. Made myself a pot of coffee and got up and started my day, because sleep was not happening. I don't know why. Sometimes I think your brain just gets too busy. All right. So there I go, smacking the camera again. So now we have this kind of layered effect, and I want to do one more kind of laddery, what do you call it? Like a rung of the ladder. So we're going to need more of our 18 gauge wire or 20 gauge. I'm going to go with the 18 because that's what I used. And this is kind of cool because if we wanted to, we could play with the shape. And I could actually come in and do another little drop. I'm not going to do that, but you could. Probably pulled way too much wire, but like I said, I'd rather have too much than not enough, always. And since I'm winging it, you know, better to have too much. Let me slide this guy down. And here is our... So ideally, I would like these to kind of be standing up. And it may not be exact, but one more rung Or should we do it there? I think we should do it there. That looks better to me. So we're going to need to decide on a placement. So I don't want anything banging into this pearl. So I think for this row, I'm going to put something smaller in the center. And I think we need some more blue. So maybe we'll put one of these blue guys. And then maybe some hot pink. Let's grab a couple of these blue gemstones. I'm going to make this layer not as chunky, if that makes sense. Let's pick up some red. Let's pick up some green. Let's do some more bicones in the gold. I think we will come in with some of the, I think I will grab maybe a couple of square beads. Hopefully these will all fit on here. I think we need to add something else. Some purple maybe? Do we have anything small in purple? Got these cute hearts, but I think they're gonna be too chunky. Decisions. Oh, maybe we'll do some more rondelles. That might be nice. A little sparkle in there. If I can find another one. Let's see how that looks. We could always add, oh, you know, we could add some, maybe we should do a blue. That's pretty. And then we can stack our, these too big for that. Oh. Okay, good. We'll stack our, we'll do another stacking of our bead caps. See if I can find another couple of little ones in the silver. There's a nice tiny one. All right. Okay, so let's see, we'll do this center bead first. And I'm just going to curve it just so he doesn't go anywhere. It's going to be more straight than this, but just for the sake of stringing, we're going to... Now, the other fun thing about these filigree bead caps is the hole is very hard to see in the center. You really got to search for it. How about that? That's not going to fit. No problem. No problem. We're going to stack. That's all right. We're going to stack our, we'll do bronze and silver on this one. So instead of stacking that gold filigree wouldn't fit. We're going to stack the blue and the kind of brass colored rondelle. I think that'll be still the same echoing idea of stacking. And we do have this gold wire, so whoops, come back here, mister. Have a stowaway. That was Ginger. What you doing, Ginger? She got all itchy. All right. So there's our center. And we're going to do I'm just going to string from both sides, literally just following that pattern I laid out. And hopefully this little blue bead will fit on here. Boy, I love it when a gemstone will fit on a thick piece of wire. That's a happy day. All right. Oh yeah, okay, so these bicones aren't going to work. But that's all right. We know that the gemstones do. So let me pull out a couple of those. There we go. I need to take a look at that sheet and see what these are called again. Ooh, I wonder if these bicones are going to fit. Oh, they do. Interesting. So the other bicones did not fit, but these do. You know, it just depends, I guess, where you get stuff, how it's drilled. Always check, I guess. And, you know, when I'm in my studio and I'm playing around, of course, that's when I'm checking. And so this is just a very raw process that I like to show you, because I think, and even you all have stated that you learn more watching me kind of fumble around for stuff to work. You know, I mean, that's how it goes. That's how you make stuff. It may not always work. But you tried. You know it doesn't work, and that gets you closer to what does work. So I'm just trying to get this, fumble through and get this on here. And I just need another bicone. All right. So let me see. Let's test. So if we I think one more bead on the end. So what are we going to do here? Let's do another blue gemstone. And of course it doesn't want to go on. Story of my life. Come on, mystery, you can do it. There we go. I'm delighted that these fit on this 18 gauge wire. I can't believe it. Okay. So there's our next little rung of our ladder. So what we're going to do now is just wire wrap it, basically. So let me just scooch this on down. And I'm going to make a loop so that we don't waste and we don't have anything slide off till we get to the other side there. Okay. So I'm going to give that a little bit of room so we can wire wrap this. So let's see. And there I go, smacking the camera again. Oh, when I went on vacation, I took everything down so I could travel with it. And I have not gotten my rig back the way that I had it in order to keep it from moving. But I'm going to figure it out. I promise. Bear with me. Those of you that get seasick, and I do apologize. All right, so I'm basically just going to make a wrap loop because I don't want this to come off of my wire. And I am going to make a small loop. I'm going to try. I'm going off camera because I don't want to smack my camera. And I'm just going to make a wrap loop here. I'm going to worry about orienting the loops in just a second. All right. I kind of went back in on it to make it really nice and secure. That is an option. Come in here with my nippers. Okay. This next one will be easier for you to see because I won't have to worry about hitting the camera. But basically, I'm going to come in with my little flat nose here. Make a small loop. Sometimes this 18 gauge can be really hard on your hands, so just fair warning. If you have, arthritis or sensitive hands or carpal tunnel or something like that, then you might want to go with the 20 gauge wire. It'll be easier on your hands. Just FYI, I'm using 18 gauge right now. And it's always that last little piece we all know doesn't want to tuck in. There we go. Okay, so now I have this piece. This is our last rung, okay? And it looks like I got the holes oriented correctly. So I'm just basically going to slide this on. Now, I did have these kind of bronzy looking baubles on here. I'm going to take those off for a second. And I may need to adjust again. This is the kind of thing where it's about balance. And so until you actually start stringing stuff, you don't know if you need to adjust or not. And right now, I'm just concerned about this hanging right. And I hope that I measured this correctly. If I didn't, we're about to find out. This turned out to be more complicated than I expected, but that's what happens. So, here is our other ladder piece. And I think, I want to just zhuzh this a little. I think we need one more bead, but not a big bead, between the pearls and this piece. I think that is the ticket. So, let's grab, I say, another green crystal, which is gorgeous, and another green crystal. Kind of echoes our tassels. Alrighty. Now let's slide this back on. I think this will be the ticket. This will be the ticket, and then the rest of it is just going to be basic stringing, however and whatever you want from here on out. So So let's see how that looks. I like that. Okay. Again, it's not, you're going to have to play with the wire just a little to get it to hang the way you want it. And I'll play with that off camera. But let's get to stringing. All of this is adjustable, of course. But what I would like to do now is just get some stringing going. So I think, first off and foremost, we'll put another small bead. I'm going to string one side, and then we will work on the other. Love these Druzy beads. We want to pick that up from the... Oh, and let's do a layer. Let's do a layer of our very bright gold that we not sure we like, but can tone down as long as we layer things. And I am trying to find some more. There we go. And I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna string this all the way up because I love this SofFlex wire. Uh-oh, I forgot to put my silver. I love the SofFlex wire showing. It's a pretty color, and I like the very different variations of green in this necklace. Got some light green and some dark green, which I think adds a lot of depth. And you can do that too. You know, the red and the fuchsia pretty much are different temperaments of red, of course. So you have that going for you as well. I do like the layered bead caps. I think those look cool. All right. Maybe we'll grab a dark green bead. Another bead, another bellflower. And let's grab a little spot of red. Now maybe we can use these really pretty, yeah, very pretty. And maybe some purple. I do like these hearts. Maybe we can grab those now. Fun. And let's grab another green. I think I'm going to do just a few more beads and then we'll call it a day. I do like the jewel tones. Let me know in the comments how you like the jewel tones. I think the jewel tones are very cool to look at. Okay, a couple more, and then we're going to be done on this side. All right. So this is our very fun festive necklace. I'm going to do the other side, and then we will do our clasps. I think I'm going to do probably toggle clasp for the end of this. And then we'll take a closer look at the design. Okay, so now the big question is, how long do we want to make this? So I like for these necklaces to be pretty long. Quite honestly, there's so much going on with it. It's definitely a dramatic piece of jewelry that you want to stand out, of course, between the colors and the patterns and all that good stuff. So I'm going to make this as long as possible. So I am going to just make sure that my SofFlex is even. I got a little piece here that's not quite the same length, and I will save this for something. And then I just found a really cute kind of garland looking toggle clasp. I think this came from Bargain Bead Box, that I thought was fitting for the holidays. So basically we're just going to do basic crimp tube and toggle clasp ending. So I do love the wire, so I want some of it to show, of course. And you obviously want enough play that your toggle's not super tight. And you could cut, if you wanted it even longer, which I don't know if you would want to, you could, instead of putting the toggle here, add some chain. If you were to make this shorter by, than this, then you could add chain and do an extender chain and a lobster claw clasp instead, as an option if you wanted it more versatile for somebody to have other wearing options. But this is such a bold necklace. I think it's great for it to be long. Just coming in with the bar end of the toggle. And I like toggles. They're so nice and easy to take on and off. They're very user-friendly, as they say. So I'm just basically making sure that everything is lined up the way I want it. I'm a little bit off camera, but once you've seen me crimp, you've seen me crimp. Not that exciting. You could certainly use the crimps that they have over at the SofFlex that make them look like a little bead. You could float more beads throughout here. That would be pretty. But I feel like we've got a lot going on down there, so I thought I would just keep this simple up towards the top and just have the really pretty color wire showing. Just trimming the ends, because these tend to poke you. We don't need the extra. And here's our toggle. And I like the holiday themed feeling of the leaves. Looks like a little wreath for your door, possibly. And yeah, so let's see. Here I kind of neatened up our beads. This is the colorway we started with. This is our inspiration. I'm going to come and get a piece of white paper so we can take a closer look at all that we did. This was a very involved necklace, and what I would say to you is, if you don't want to make something this involved, you do not have to. You can make this simpler. Here is our gorgeous green SofFlex. Here is our colorway. So as you can see, I think we nearly picked up every nuance and every color in our colorway. It is a very involved necklace, and not for everybody. But you know what? For the holidays, I think it's very festive. I love the feeling of Christmas ornaments. I love the dangle and the tassels with it. I do think all the focus is right here. If you wore like this with a jewel-toned sweater, it would be pretty. But it would also be pretty. We're very dramatic on like a black sweater, because all of these would pop. If you wanted to make it simpler, you could just basically just do a little drop here with your piece and just do a stringing, or even a tassel with a little wire wrapping and some stringing. So the latter part of it is not necessary. I just wanted to give that a try with this technique a little bit differently than I do with I've done it with chain before, but not with SofFlex. And since I had this evergreen color, I really wanted to play with it and pick that up along with the bargain bead box, which by all means, I mean, it's a very festive holiday palette, but you can jump off from that and, you know, make it yours. You could definitely do this same thing just with the green and the red and the gold. And also, you know, like I said, if you want to tone down the gold, mix your metals, layer your bead caps, and, you know, use some different things there. So, I hope you like this project. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's, like I said, very involved. But the techniques are there for you to use or not use, or, like I said, do a simplified version. Maybe just do this piece with the tassel, or not even do the latter part with the tassels. It would be pretty. So plenty of options, and we still have this piece to play with from the bargain bead box, which I'm trying to decide what I want to do there. Stay tuned for that. That might be the Tuesday tutorial. We'll see. I generally like to do earrings or a bracelet for the Tuesday tutorial, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, we will continue to play with this colorway, and maybe not use all the colors next time, but maybe I'll just cherry pick a few, you know, like do the green and the red and blue, and maybe we'll do the green and the red and a purple or a fuchsia. And I also saw some pastels that would be nice. Somebody also mentioned in the comments pastels would look great with this, and you're totally right. I did get a sneak peek at some other boxes from some other places, and they did do little unexpected pops of some pastels, which is another way to tone down some of this. So be thinking about that. Thank you as always for joining me and sharing your... So as I was bidding you adieu, my phone very kindly informed me that I have videotaped too many videos. And I don't have any storage, so I had to clean up some storage to tell you goodbye. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for Tutorial Tuesday coming up. And more fun projects, more color theory, more color playing, etc., etc. Do subscribe and like. I'd love to have you if you have not subscribed. If you have watched any of this, or you're new to the channel, give me a try. I do have a little bit different take on things. I love all the different channels. I subscribe to lots of jewelry channels myself because I think everybody has something to contribute. And for me, I would say I can help you with color. I can help you be more confident about color, or learn about color, or think about color in a different way. So that's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. Those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much from the bottom of my pea-picking heart. Can't thank you enough. I have the nicest subscribers. You all are wonderful. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whenever it is you watch this. Please take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next video.